Okay, just another catch-up video, see how we're getting on. Put a few more little bits on the strut brace, fix that bracket to there, as we said before. Air cleaners on. I got sort of a pipe across air filter. It was sort of like 50 quid. They're the ones where you're meant to sort of oil them every 10,000 or whatever, but to be fair, I've got one in my modern Scirocco and I just buy a new one every time I service it, so it doesn't bother me too much. So that's all gone on. I haven't put the long pipes on yet, just so I can see what's going on with the engine when it does actually get running. I've made some spacers for the fan. Basically M8 washers, but I've sort of bolted them onto the bolt and then taped them together, so they're just like a spacer basically. It took a fair bit of messing about to get it pretty square. I'm pretty happy that the well, you can see, yeah, that the fan is yeah, you can see the belt's nice and in line with that pulley. It's very slightly, well, it's pretty good actually. Yeah, you can see down there it's pretty well lined up. Maybe very slightly this way, but I can't space it anymore. But what I have noticed now I've put the belt on is, if you look at the angle of the, I'll try and show it on this picture. Yeah, the angle of the power steering pump is way off. I don't quite know how it's that far off. I'm assuming I would think it looks sort of in line parallel ways, but it's tipping downwards. It could be that this bracket, you know, that sort of diamond shaped bracket that it goes on is bent. I think the method of sort of fixing it's going to be undo the adjusting bolt, M8 adjusting bolt at the bottom, and then put some washers behind this top one. I'm not going to straighten that bracket. I think if it does actually look bent now. I might see if I can take that bracket off tomorrow and maybe straighten the bracket a bit. That might be easier than spacing. Yeah, it's just bending it in the right way. I might just try loosening that top one and putting some washers behind it, just to tip it back. I mean, I'm not sure how obvious it is on the, yeah, so you can see, yeah, you can see that pulley over there, it just slightly, yeah, you can see the bottom of the pulley this side of the belt, whereas you can't. So, I mean, it'll work and everything, but it's just going to wear the belt funny, which is why I spaced the top one. At some point, if I go to a breakers or whatever and I get the proper spacers, then I'll get the proper spacers. I'm not sure what should be there. I'm assuming it's like some cast tubes. The bottom ones I think is different from the top because it's like offset slightly, or maybe not. But I've just kind of messed about with the washers till I got it parallel. The way I sort of checked it, I'll just show you the way I checked it. Got like a little ruler. Where's my ruler? I have it today. Just get my ruler. Yeah, so it's put a ruler sort of in both grooves, both pulleys and grooves, and then look at that and sight it up across. And if it's, you know, you can sort of get an idea. Then you can put it across the bottom pulley and look downwards and get an idea of the angle. No point doing it on that one over there because I know that's not straight. But I'm sure I'll be able to sort that out. So I've done that. Can't stress enough how important pictures are if you're not familiar with them. The routing of the wires, the way the live starter wire, or the other end of this, sort of goes round the oil filter and then round one of the engine mounts and comes back round the back of the engine ready to go to the starter. It could have gone like 3 different ways, and I looked on my pictures and it showed me, as well as that, the connections for the oil pressure sensor, temperature and sensor. I've got pictures of that. One of the connectors had broke off, but it was quite obvious because one was a ring connector and one was a spade connector. But I did check back on my pictures just to be sure, and it did help quite a lot. So we're nearly there now. I think I'm going to leave putting this top fan cowling on until I've had it running a bit. I think I'll do that last, and the air pipes, just because I can see everything a bit better. See if there's any leaks or anything from power steering and stuff, all a bit better with them off, and they don't take long to put on. So tomorrow we're down to, yeah, I did turn around the oil pipe, as we talked about on the last video. You can't really see the angle of it, but it kind of goes downwards. So I just managed to loosen the union on the pipe and spin it round and then tighten it up, and it went on straight on. That's just something to be aware of. If you do disturb that, just mark where it was previously on both ends of the pipes and put it back the same. But yeah, that's all gone on, and all the water pipes have gone on, power steering fluids in. Yeah, I think we're down tomorrow. We're going to be down to nothing more on the top now. Tomorrow we're down to sort of torque tube, change the back bolt, put a new bolt in the back, adjust it at the front, connect up the flywheel, put the bellaz in on the bottom of the torque tube at this end, starter motor on, then exhaust. And then, I think then I can get it running. I've got to sort out the catch can for this, but I might just run a pipe off that down to the ground, just down the side of the engine for the time being, because I'd like to go home in it on Sunday once I've played with it. If it runs and all the lights work, I'm going to drive it. I don't see any point in faffing about. If it breaks down, it breaks. I'll give it a few runs up and down the road, and if it seems okay, I'll run it home and then come back the following on the Monday. I live about sort of 6 miles from work, so it's not a bad little run, and if I do get into problems, it's not going to cost me a fortune to get it recovered, but we'll see how we get on Sunday. I might find that I just get it running, and then there's a few things to finish off, and I've had enough, and I want to go home, especially if it doesn't work properly or it doesn't run, then I really will want to go home. But yeah, that's it for now. Just thought I'd give you a catch up, where we're at with it. Don't think there's anything else I noticed faffing about. I did notice underneath, I took it out by dropping the steering rack and undoing the bottom of the engine mounts. I'm looking at it now. I think you can just undo the bolts into the bottom crank case and leave the mounts there, and then it just lifts straight up, which actually would explain why I was having a bit of trouble getting it back in. I've seen somebody else take one out, and that's what they did, and I thought, look, I didn't realise you could unbolt the mountings from the engine and leave them there, but it looks like you can. I think on one side you've got to drop some bracket out of the way to get to the bolts, but it's not horrendous. So that's probably the better way to do it. Rather than drop the steering rack to get to the nuts on the mountings, you can leave the mountings there, and then it literally can come straight up. So that's probably why I was having a bit of trouble getting it back in. Obviously taking it out is not a problem, you can just drag it out, but putting it back in is a bit of an issue. I don't know if this electric fan works yet. Probably got to get it up to temperature first. But yeah, that's it. So if you're enjoying it, subscribe. If you know anything I've done wrong, or you can see anything I've done wrong, feel free to chip in. We're all learning. Well, I certainly am on this one. Hopefully learning my lessons and doing it properly, or maybe I'll learn a bad lesson and have to do it again. But worst scenario is it doesn't work and something's wrong with it and I have to take it all out and take it all to bits again. But to be fair, now I've took it to bits and put it back together once, it won't be too bad actually. I'll quite happily do another one now. Now I know what's to do with them. I'd quite happily do it. Got to put the battery on tomorrow as well and whatever. So it's a fair bit to do on a Sunday, get everything finished off and getting it running. I don't want to rush it, but if I can get it just started and just drive it up and down the road, and that would be a result. I did insure it. I had a policy that was nearly expired, and insurance, classic car insurance limited to 2,000 miles a year, was 155 quid, which I thought was really, really good. My old camper's 125, and this was only 150. Well, this is going to be 155 when it renews. which I thought was pretty damn good, really. I can't fault it. That was with, I think they used to be a HIC. I think they call themselves Sterling Insurance now, but it's what used to be HIC. Volkswagen sort of specialist one as well. But because it's a classic car, she ummed and ahed and said it might be a lot because of the grouping of it and whatever. But because of the age, it's classed as a classic, and they're not bothered, which, you know, not many cars with this kind of power and and top speed you can insure for 155 quid. So I was quite chuffed with that. So it's ready to rock. If it, hopefully next week it should be rocking and rolling on the road. All right, that's it. If you're enjoying it, subscribe and give me some likes, and ask any questions you like. I'll try and help you. Or if you've got anything to tell me that I've done wrong, or you notice anything that's not right, let me know. Cheers. Ta-da.